Imagine yourself there. Take a breath and soak in the atmosphere of a deserted arena. That sharp chill stinging your chest. A flawless, blinding expanse of white shimmering under the overhead spotlights. Then there is the noise, the unmistakable, percussive bite of steel slicing through the solid frost. Place the world's most elite performers at center ice. The setting? Osaka, Japan. Silence fills the hall. While the seats are vacant during practice, the atmosphere vibrates with raw energy. A pair of skaters wait together. There is no trace of hostility or tension between them. No cold stares or measuring glances. This is not about some brutal rivalry meant to seal their professional fates. Quite the opposite, they drift as one. They glide across the rink in an eerie, flawless unison. Each movement and weight change is perfectly echoed. Accelerating rapidly, the breeze whips past as they reach their peak momentum. Suddenly, without a single verbal cue or any perceptible gesture, their blades dig in, catapulting them skyward simultaneously. Tucking their limbs, they transform into living whirlwinds, becoming a blur through 3 full rotations, mocking the laws of physics and freezing the clock. Then thud, they touch down. Landing on their right skates with left legs trailing in elegant arcs, they nail a triple axel in stunning, miraculous unison. On one side stands the man currently holding 3 straight world titles. Opposite him is a 3-time American queen who recently showed the world she commands the spotlight on the biggest stages. The very instant that low-key practice footage hit social media, every skating fan on Earth collectively spiraled into a frenzy. It went viral instantly. Enthusiasts, analysts, and competitors alike kept hitting replay. Because that sequence, that fleeting, ethereal moment of airborne grace, showcases what occurs when the planet's most gifted icons join forces for something far more significant than a mere contest, transcending points or hardware. This is the pure, raw enchantment the Japanese Stars on Ice Tour is currently unleashing. Truthfully, if you have followed the grueling, gorgeous, and emotionally taxing, yet victorious path they have traveled lately, you realize this event is much more than a routine off-season show. This feels like their crowning. It is a well-deserved tribute to every struggle, injury, and tear shed on their journey to this specific highlight. We have to begin with Ilia Malinin. How else can you describe a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon such as him? This kid essentially strolled into Prague and walked away with his 3rd straight world gold. 3 consecutive wins. Imagine the dominance. While most top-tier performers his age are still struggling to find their footing, fighting anxiety and perfecting their routines, Ilia is not simply a competitor in this field. He is effectively shredding the established manual and drafting a new one based on his own rules. He was dubbed the Quad God well before the general public or casual viewers even knew his name. If this title sounds new to you, it is vital to grasp the weight behind those words. This is no marketing gimmick dreamed up by PR agents. It is an accurate portrayal of his capabilities. Malinin stands alone as the only human in recorded history to ever stick a quadruple axel during a sanctioned event. Visualize the demands of the Quad Axel. You are gliding forward, totally vulnerable. You hurl yourself upward, spinning 4.5 times in a heartbeat before landing backward on a steel edge just 0.25 inches wide. The underlying physics are haunting. The mechanics needed to spin that fast while maintaining control upon landing were previously dismissed by experts as biologically impossible for humans. No safety wires were used. This was not achieved in some low-stakes training session where a crash carries no penalty. He pulled it off during an official match, under the harsh scrutiny of global judges analyzing his every move while the heat was at its peak. All eyes were on him as the world waited to see if he would achieve immortality or crumble on the frost. He redefined history, yet, incredibly, that is merely the beginning of his list of achievements. Ilia masters the entire suite of 6 quads, the toe loop, salcho, loop, flip, lutz, and the legendary axel. Every single one. This is not just some trivia point for a commentator to mention. This is the signature of a supernatural athlete, executing feats that defy physics with an eerie, nonchalant poise that makes you briefly forget the sheer madness of the performance unfolding right before your eyes. He treats the impossible like a simple morning stretch. Yet there is a raw human side to Ilia Malinin that mainstream networks rarely bother to explore. Prague was no routine victory. It was a visceral reclamation, a deeply private answer to a season of pain. You must look back to grasp the crushing burden he carried onto that ice. He entered the 2026 Milan Games as the heavy favorite for the individual gold medal. The American media piled an agonizing, suffocating weight of expectation onto his young, untried shoulders. The buzz was immense. He was the nation's invincible lock, the golden child who simply could not fail. He landed in Italy with a country demanding perfection, only for a nightmare scenario to suddenly strike. He fell to 8th. For his elite caliber, that rank was a total catastrophe. After a season of logic-defying dominance, that specific failure hit with the force of a high-speed collision. The shock was visceral, leaving the arena in a stunned silence as everyone struggled to process the upset. The solo Olympic podium remained a dream just beyond his reach during that specific event. He missed the chance to watch his flag ascend in honor of his own personal masterpiece. The singular glory he chased since lacing up skates in those freezing toddler years vanished in a heartbeat. To be fair, he did help Team USA secure gold in the collective event, a truly massive achievement. He holds Olympic gold. But elite souls are built differently. That individual loss left a jagged, unhealed scar on his psyche. It left a lingering fire in his gut, a question about his greatness he refused to leave hanging. Prague transcended the title. It became his personal site of spiritual warfare. He went there to silence every critic, slay his inner ghosts, and prove Milan was a fluke. Mission accomplished. He skated with a fierce intensity, reclaiming his throne with absolute kingly authority. For the third time, his redemption provided the perfect script for a primetime television special. Yet, Ilia was the one who had to brave that treacherous ice alone and actually deliver. He performed without error. While his comeback is gripping, the narrative is incomplete without shifting our focus to Amber Glenn. Her journey over the last year has undeniably been one of the most poignant, raw storylines in sports. It is a deeply relatable tale that finally deserves every bit of the spotlight it is now receiving. Her road was never smooth. She was no untouchable prodigy, she is a relentless, gritty warrior. Entering the Olympic cycle as a true threat, she had clawed her way up through sheer willpower. After stunning the elite by winning the Grand Prix final, she became the talk of the circuit. She started the grueling 2025 season as the dominant three-time reigning American champion. She possessed incredible momentum and years of hard-won, bruising experience on the world stage. She held a hardened psychological armor that only develops from a lifetime of hitting the ice. She survived crushing setbacks, forcing herself back to the pinnacle of an unforgiving, elite athletic world. The Milan Winter Games were meant to be the absolute peak of her long career. Fate seemed aligned for her success. But the Olympics are a cold and indifferent beast. Glory and ruin are separated by mere fractions, a tiny over-rotation, or a missed breath. She took 5th. By any standard, being the 5th best human on Earth is a staggering, monumental achievement. Most athletes would sacrifice nearly anything just to be ranked 5th in the entire world. They would cherish that result forever. Yet Amber Glenn does not operate like most people. She is a ferocious, deeply hungry competitor. Taking 5th, when you know you have the arsenal for gold, feels hollow compared to just being there. That rank stung. It cut deep because she knew her full potential remained untapped. Certain that her peak performance was still waiting to break free, she stashed her gear, managed her frayed nerves, and headed for the Prague World Championships. This was her 4th time braving the intense pressure of that particular intimidating world stage. However, the atmosphere had shifted. She wasn't in Prague solely for a podium finish. She arrived with a deeply personal, focused intent. Her heart was set on executing a short program that finally mirrored the immense skill she knew she possessed. She craved that rhythmic fusion, that flawless precision of motion, and total authority over the ice. That was her aim. That was her singular quest. And by her own soulful description, she achieved that goal to the letter. Her Prague short program was a masterclass in brilliance, raw, technically flawless, and a profound emotional release. You could practically witness the heavy burden dissolving from her spirit the moment she hit her final pose. Yet figure skating is a test of endurance masked as speed, and the following day's free skate was a much steeper climb. Amber's complete transparency about these hurdles is exactly why she has earned such a dedicated following. Mid-program, under the punishing glare of the arena lights, she felt her razor-sharp focus begin to slip. She was trying so desperately to stay composed, battling the crippling anxiety that has long been her greatest career obstacle, that she actually overmanaged her movements to keep the panic at bay. The spark faded. She lost her rhythm and herself in the middle of the storm. She pushed through to the finish, landing in 6th place. It wasn't the podium dream she wanted, but she showed up. She stayed present. She stood tall in the spotlight when disappearing would have been the far simpler choice. She poured her entire being into the ice. That unforgettable short program was her victory, skated entirely on her own terms. She left those world championships without a medal, yet she carried away something far more significant than silver or gold. She departed with a profound, unshakable understanding of her own true capabilities, a clear vision of her identity as an athlete, and a hunger for the dreams she still intends to chase. There is something truly noble about how Amber Glenn handles these moments of raw vulnerability. In a sport defined by staged perfection and rehearsed smiles, Amber breaks the mold. She refuses to gloss over her setbacks. She doesn't hide from the rough days or offer the media those hollow, pre-packaged quotes they often expect. Instead, she stares her failures in the face. She gives her anxieties a name and speaks them out loud. She reviews her flaws in the cold light of day, and then, with remarkable poise, she keeps moving forward. That kind of unvarnished honesty is rare in today's sports world, transforming her from a talented skater into a truly powerful inspiration. You don't just root for Amber Glenn because of her massive technical skill, though that is undeniable, but because she lets you witness the messy, beautiful reality of being a high-level athlete. She exposes the heavy doubt and the grueling internal battles. She allows us to see her fierce resolve to keep tightening her laces and pushing ahead, regardless of the score. She makes everyone watching feel a little less isolated in their own personal fights. Now, after the heartbreak, the tears, the public eyes, the grueling workouts, and the wild emotional swings, she is here. Thousands of miles from home, she's on the bright Osaka ice with Ilia Malinin. Side by side, they are drilling those punishingly difficult triple axels in perfect, synchronized rhythm. They shared the moment on social media, making sure to credit the footage to their teammate, Elisa Liu. They are radiating a sense of pure, relaxed confidence that signals she is exactly where she needs to be in this chapter of her journey. That viral clip holds significant weight, far beyond being just a flashy video to glance at while scrolling. The triple axel is widely seen as one of the most treacherous and technically demanding jumps in skating history. It involves a forward-facing takeoff, requiring an extra half rotation compared to any other jump in the sport. The margin for a mistake is hauntingly, dangerously slim. A tiny slip on the edge or a second of doubt, and you're hitting the frozen surface at 20 miles per hour. Yet, Amber Glenn has brilliantly turned that lethal jump into a signature weapon in her competitive bag. Meanwhile, Ilia Malinin is performing on a different plane, where his simple warm-ups are feats that other world-class skaters chase for their entire careers without success. To see these two specific stars drilling that titan of a jump in perfect unison right before a show for thousands of court, the sheer frenzy of Japanese devotees storming the stadium speaks volumes about the raw, untamed spirit this roadshow is unleashing. This Japanese chapter of Stars on Ice is overflowing with elite mastery. Amber Glenn and Ilia Malinin are merely the tip of the iceberg. They are navigating the moody, dramatic rink alongside titans of the craft, like the incredible Elisa Liu, the sophisticated brilliance of Isabeau Levito, and the sheer force of nature that is Kaori Sakamoto, who is basking in the electric glory of performing as the world's best before her own adoring countrymen. Seeing such a dense gathering of pure athletic genius on a single roster is nothing short of breathtaking. You have a parade of national icons, Olympic legends, and world-renowned podium finishers, including a reigning triple world title holder, all wandering the globe as a pack, living out of trunks while delivering back-to-back shows to thunderous packed houses in Osaka and Tokyo. Don't get it twisted, this isn't some sleepy, half-hearted gala where skaters just coast around and wave at the bleachers. We are talking about a high-octane, soul-stirring masterclass in figure skating. It is the kind of visceral, athletic theater that grips your heart and demands you remember why this chaotic sport stole your soul. There is a certain haunting beauty, something straight out of a movie, in watching Amber Glenn and Ilia Malinin tackle this journey together after the brutal year they endured. Their paths have mirrored each other in a truly gripping fashion. Both carried the crushing weight of national hopes into the highest arenas of Milan. Both tasted the bitter sting of missing those lifelong dreams of individual Olympic hardware by the narrowest of margins. Both were forced to sweep up the fragments of their shattered goals and move forward. They arrived in Prague with nothing left in the tank, yet they strapped on their skates and went to war anyway. Amidst a season that veered wildly off course, they both managed to find something solid and real to hold on to. Now, here they are in Japan, inhaling a different kind of freedom where the score no longer matters. There is no obsessive worrying over tiny point deductions or technical flaws. The heavy, critical eyes of international panels and digital boards are gone. They are simply existing in the moment together. Standing under the glow of the rafters, feeling the bite of the ice on their skin, They are indulging in their deepest passion while gifting the crowd a slice of ephemeral magic that will linger forever. That mirrored triple axel is destined to shatter the internet as the tour's crowning jewel. No matter the city, audiences will hold their breath every single time those edges snap off the frozen surface. Yet the true narrative, the emotional heartbeat of that feat, isn't just about the flawless physics of the rotation. It is about the victory of the spirit. It is a celebration of pure, unadulterated happiness. Witnessing two legends at the peak of their prowess choose collaboration over collision is a sight to behold. They are opting to build something grand as a unit, deciding to shed the suffocating, often poisonous expectations of the professional circuit to simply let the primal, undeniable grace of their movement speak for itself, far beyond the reach of world records or gold. This is figure skating in its most uncorrupted form, the kind that resonates deep within your marrow. That sensation will remain etched in your psyche long after the final scores fade into history, the medals lose their shine, and the archives are tucked away. If the vibrant, liberated joy radiating from that grainy practice footage is any preview, this tour isn't just a schedule of performances. It is going to be a landmark moment for the culture, a shared experience that fans, spectators, and the athletes themselves will treasure for a very, very long time.